it's Johar. Welcome back to my channel, to the MH Reader. So, I am going to be talking about the MH Readathon again. I have 2 more videos that need to come out, so today and tomorrow I'm working on those so they can go out by tomorrow. So, yeah, I've just been behind this. A lot of things been going on this month, so yeah. But this video is for recommending books for the prompts. Exciting. So I'll just recommend a book. I'll be showing like the cover of the book here because all my books, because they're like moving and stuff, is a pain. So all my books are like in bins or bags right now, and I really don't want to get them. I only get books that I have to for when I read them for my TBR next month. I'll just grab the book as I go. So for my TBR video, it's probably gonna be the same thing. Um, but yeah, so I'm going to recommend books for the prompts. I've attempted a closet cosplay of Venus. It's not that great because I don't have any other wigs than the one I used for my operetta closet cosplay in my announcement video. And I don't really have a color theme for Venus. Her color theme's like green. But this shirt does have flowers on it. And then I did do the whole hair thing because her hair is all like this. And this part is shaved for Venus, so I'm obviously not going to shave my hair because I like my hair, but yeah. So I am going to do one book per prompt, but I forgot. Some of the as I was doing this, I realized some of the books I've used can be used for more than one prompt on here. So if I said a book, then I'll just be like, oh, this can also work for this. Okay, so we're starting with Rochelle. This feels really weird because I don't know if you guys ever noticed in my videos, but my hair is always behind my ears. I've been like that forever. Like at a young age, I legit trained my hair to stay behind my ears at like all times. So it feels really weird when I do a hairstyle that insists my hair to be in front of my ear because that just feels so wrong. Like, no, my hair is always behind my ear. So this is gonna take some getting used to, and you'll probably see me quite often doing this, but it's just habit, like seriously. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, number 1 for Rochelle Goyle is Scarcity of Frights, a book taking place abroad, not in the US. So I went with Harry Potter. I did, I didn't even think of Harry Potter when I was first trying to come up with my TBR, which I did before I came up with book recommendations. It was actually Robin from the Bookworm Hole, one of the other co-hosts, that said it. I was like, oh yeah, that works. I can't believe I didn't even think of Harry Potter, but I did just read all of Harry Potter in a buddy read, so I finished book 7 sometime in June. So like, I love Harry Potter, but I'm not able to read it at the moment. But as you probably know, Harry Potter takes place in London. So yeah. Hall Monitor. Still love those puns. A lawful good character. So I went Percy Jackson. I'm still currently reading that for the first time because with everything going on, I haven't continued. I should have been done. Um. So yeah, Percy Jackson is very, very much of a good character, and yeah, like he's just the definition of lawful good. Friday Night Frights. Transfer student, a character who switches sides. So this one was a bit harder than I thought it would be, but I ultimately went with King of Scars. So there's like 2 storylines going on. I mean, I guess they're not really storylines because they kind of go together in the end, but one with Nikolai and Zoya and what's going on in the castle, and the one is with what's going on with Nina somewhere else, which she's off doing a mission for Nikolai. Um, but she's still getting Matthias' death, but then she meets Hane, and she falls for her, and the 2 of them get close, and Hane is the daughter of Jarl Brum, who in Six of Crows Nina hated, and she also blamed for Matthias' death. I think a little bit. So, and Hane obviously wanted to impress her dad, but at the end, Hang switch sides from her father's side because she fell in love with Nina. So yeah. Um. Okay, so Rebecca's theme, Hezekiah, a book with family. So, I went with Charmed. I'm reading the Charmed books right now. I've read the first 10. I haven't continued, but I do plan to. There's like 41 ish, 40, 41, 42, somewhere around that. And Charmed, if you've ever seen the TV show, then you'll know that the big main thing, besides the charmed ones, the witches and the magic and the demons, whatever, saving innocence. The main theme is their sisterhood, their family, and Prue, Piper, Phoebe, and then later when Prue dies, and Paige comes on, and what they mean to each other. Their their sisters, and that's important to them. Their family, and it's a big thing about them is the fact that they're sisters. Then for steampunk, a historical setting. So this one I probably was stuck with more than any other one. I ended up looking up um, stuff, and I found one that I actually heard of, and I have thought about reading before. So I was like, sure, why not? And I did not know it had a historical setting. So that is the Night Circus. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements preceded. It is simply there. When yesterday was not, within the black and white striped canvas tents is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazement. It is called Le Cirque de Rêves. It is and it is only open at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway. A duel between two young magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since their childhood expressly for this purpose by their Mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing, and the circus is but a stage for a remarkable battle of imagination and will. Despite themselves, however, Celia and Marco tumble headfirst into love, a deep, magical love that makes the lights flicker and the room grow warm whenever they so much as brush hands. True love or not, the game must play out, and the fates of everyone involved, from the cast of extraordinary circus performers to the patrons' pain in the balance, suspended as precariously as the daring acrobats overhead. Um, I have that as historical setting. Ah, this is the only one I haven't read of this list, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of popular. I mean, I've heard about it from a few different booktubers, I think. So, yeah, I'm guessing it's pretty good. Number 3 for Rebecca is an empowering feminist read. I decided to go with one of my own books because why not? Any moment to self promote my books and get people to want to read them. I went with Jasmine Perez. There are 4 books. The fourth one is actually a prequel, so it's like a trilogy and then a prequel. A village and origin story kind of thing. And it's about Jasmine Perez, obviously. And she's a princess when what all of a sudden she finds out she has magic just as a wicked sorceress comes and pretty much kidnaps her entire kingdom except for 2 people that got away, 2 servants who hate Jasmine, and they have to flee so Jasmine can practice her magic. And it's not smooth sailing obviously since these 2 servants hate her, and she also end up meeting up with her fiance, like arranged marriage kind of fiance thing. And Jasmine has to try to practice her magic and try to save all and try to save her kingdom. But later on, the stakes become much higher when Lilac tries to destroy every realm in existence, and she has to try to stop that. So next for Venus McFlytrap, who I'm cosplaying as. Um, One is Plant Monster, Nature, Plant, Present. So I went with The Rise of Kyoshi. Um, there's 2 books. It's a duology. I've only read the first one so far, but I do want to read the second one. And this one also goes with the character that switches sides because Kyoshi kind of switches sides. I mean, the person who's kind of teaching her, he's kind of responsible for this guy she had a crush on, his death. So she kind of runs off, meets up with Rangi, who she falls in love with, and so there's an LGBTQ one later on, which this also works for because she's bisexual. Um, and she is kind of on the run from him because he's trying to find her. You know, she's the Avatar, and she she switched sides. She switched from his side to her own side. She created a side that didn't exist. Um, see, Pollen and Persuasion, a story calling for social change. So I went with Reflection, which is a Mulan retelling of the Twisted Tales series, um, because I mean there was a social change that needed to happen in the original Mulan story, and it's basically the same thing. Like I mean, yeah, there's a twist that changes a lot, but the starting story is the same. So at least it has been for the other twist tales that I've read so far. So yeah. Um, Girlfriends Forever, a book with female friendship. I went with Monster High. Now the Girlfriend series I'm buddy reading, I have that on the list, I think, but later in the list. So this is the other Monster High series. There's also 4 books in this one. It's YA, not middle grade, like the other one. But I like it, but I don't like it as much because like Monster High hasn't been created yet. All the ghouls have to hide that they're monsters as they go to a normie school. Um, they have to put on like all these makeup and stuff to and hide any traits that look monstrous. But one of the big things, besides them, they're trying to have their rights to show the world that they deserve to be out and proud as anyone else. So this actually could work for social change too. I just now thought of that. But it's also a lot about the female friendship between the main ghouls, Draculaura, Frankie, Claudine, Laguna, and Cleo. So Nathan Roth is a freaky fusion, a hybrid of 2 or more genres. I went with Seekers. This was harder than I thought it would be, but maybe that's because I mostly read fantasy, except for Aaron Hunter. But something I never really thought about until kind of recently-ish is that Seekers has some fantasy elements. Technically, I mean, I'd consider Seekers is mostly adventure, but it does have some action, and it definitely does have a little fantasy elements because one of the main characters, Udrak, he is a shapeshifter. He can shapeshift into any animal or human. He's shapeshifted into a human before, or flat face as they call it. Seekers is more than one genre because there are some elements of other genres in there. Rainbow, a book with LGBT rep. Like I said, Rise of Kyoshi could work for this. So could my Jasmine Press series because there is a little of LGBT rep, not as much as my others published series, but this one, um, you find out that Jax, one of these servants that hated Jasmine at the beginning, is bisexual. And then you find out that Zeke is gay. He wasn't even introduced until book 2, but you find out in book 3 that he's gay. And Alice is lesbian, and you meet her girlfriend at one point in book 2. So yeah, there's some LGBT rep in there. Oh yeah, but the one I actually have for this, I almost forgot to mention the one I actually have for this is Six of Crows because there's definitely LGBT rep in Six of Crows. Jesper is bisexual, so is Nina, and then Wylan, I'm pretty sure he's gay. He never really showed any interest in girls, so I'm pretty sure he's gay. Um, and Jesper and Wylan, for those of you that do not know, is my favorite Bishaverse couple. I know Kazan and Edge are very popular, and I do love them. They're second on my ship list of the Grishaverse couples, but I love Jesper and Wylan. I feel like they are way too underrated. Um, but yeah, so and Six Crows is always a fun read. Freaky Flaw, a character with a tragic past. So I'm sure this could go with. I'm sure there's a lot of series this could go with. I mean, let's be real, but I ultimately went with the Effigies trilogy. I just feel like she had a really tragic past, and it was very important at the beginning of the series. Actually, it's pretty important throughout the series about what happened before the series started, which is the fact that her parents and twin sister died in a house fire, and she was the only survivor. So she's kind of miserable at the beginning. She's living with her uncle. Maya definitely has a very tragic past, and it's a really good trilogy. I definitely highly recommend checking it out. It's about there's 4 effigies, and each effigy controls one element. And when one effigy dies, someone else gets called upon that now has that element, and they are supposed to fight the phantoms that try to terrorize the world. And Maya is the next fire effigy. But then they find out there's these whole conspiracies and stuff, and yeah, so it's really good. Okay, so Calida Calaveras first is Day of the Dead, a book about death. As I said in my announcement video, it could be about a character dying, it could be about death all around or whatever. This one is kind of very into the whole death theme because I chose Skinjacker Trilogy, which in the very first chapter there's a car crash and 2 characters die. That's legit the first chapter, and the 2 characters that die, Allie and Nick, find themselves in Everlost. That's what it's called. That's the first book title, Everlost. And Everlost is basically the world. It's like Everlost is the place in between life and death, and it's whenever you haven't moved on to wherever you're going yet. Or for people in comas who aren't actually dead, which you'll get all into that in the series. I think in like book 2. But yeah, but then there's this whole conspiracy, and one of my least favorite book characters in this, like I legit put her in Umbridge territory. So that's how much I hate her. Very Hightower. Ugh. But yeah, so Allie and Nick end up having to join forces to try to stop her. There's also an enemies to lovers side plot. If anyone I know enemies to lovers is a popular trope, and if you like that, then definitely check it out. I like Allie and Nick's friendship. I always thought it could have been used more, but yeah. Drop Dead Gorgeous, fashion, clothes, play, and porn role. Now this, I had as hard of a time to find. The only thing I could think of was the book series Girlfriends, because there is a side plot in, I don't remember which book, but it's one of them. There's 4 books in there, and Rochelle decided to try to make their guidance counselor, who's this depressed skeleton, uh, Mr. Death, be happier, and for that she decided that it would be best to get him a date. But to get him a date, she needs to kind of dress him up. So she started trying to knit him a suit, but she's not great at sewing because of her long gargoyle stone nails. So Venus and Rebecca suggest that she ask Claudine, as anyone who knows Monster knows Claudine is the head fashionista. So she ends up asking Claudine, and Claudine agrees to help. And the suit ended up turning out great. So yeah, there was that whole side plot, and like yeah, so I have no idea what else to use for that. And then A Chosen One MC, I used my other published series for this one, The Curse is Light. My other published series, Jasmine Press, which I already mentioned, is also Chosen MC. Like this one is Chosen One MC, and this one could also work for LGBT rep as well, because this one has a lot of LGBT rep. Like the MC Skylar is an asexual biromantic. Her ex is Andrea Riveras, who is an asexual homoromantic, and then there's Andrea's girlfriend Althea, who's a lesbian. Then Skylar's brother is Logan, and Logan's boyfriend, well, he's really his fiance through most of the series, is David, who is also gay, obviously. And then Sydney is a romantic. So yeah, the only main character that's not, besides the villain, that's not LGBT is Will. I find that hilarious, and it was not planned. But yeah. But anyways, it has a Chosen One MC with a twist. Both of them, Jasmine Press and Chris's Life, both have a twist with the Chosen One MC trope. And Skylar, the book is basically about this small town that has been cursed, but only one resident, Skylar Prescott, knows that that is cursed, and no one believes her. She only really has support from her brother Logan, because all their lives it's really just mostly been the two of them. And um, but then one day a stranger drives into town, which has never happened before. Will, and he starts helping Skylar with all of this, especially since what he saw when he came into town. It was very weird. So, and they grow closer as they try to figure out the curse and the prophecy. And yeah, so I highly recommend. Please check it out. And then that's it. Yay! Those are the book recommendations for Monster High Readathon and for all the prompts. So please check them out. Um, I hope you guys have fun with this readathon. I know I will. So yeah, I will link the Discord and for the Monster High Readathon and the Twitter um, in the description, and Robin and Claire's channels. And I will talk to you guys later.